Hi, friends. Welcome to another session of Cayton Recess. I am the amazing Andres, and I'm very excited to have you with me here today. So, we are continuing our week of collaboration, and I have another read along that I want to do with you all today. This is a very charming book with some really amazing artwork in it. It's called Ganesha's Sweet Tooth. Now, if you have Ganesha's Sweet Tooth at home, why don't you hit pause button and go run and grab your book and meet me back right here so you can read along with me, okay? All right. All right, friends. So let's see what happens in our story. Ganesha's Sweet Tooth. Ganesha is a Hindu god. He's very important and powerful, and a tad chubby. There he is. Hi, Ganesha. But when he was a kid, he was just like any other kid. See, he used to swing from vines. He jumped rope. He rang bells and frolicked through flowers. He blew water out of his trunk, like you do. He played t-ball, danced, and he did cartwheels. So he was just like any other kid, except that he had an elephant's head, and he cruised around on a magical mouse collecting fruit, rice, sweets, and other gifts from the temples in his neighborhood. Yeah, like you do. There's all the sweets. There's that mouse he rides, and his elephant head. Now, Ganesha loved to eat sweets and candy, especially the traditional Indian dessert, laddu. So there he is, eating those candies. Now, Ganesha's best friend, Mr. Mouse, could eat only one at a time, which was okay by Ganesha. He didn't want to share all his laddus. Squeak! So there's Mr. Mouse, eating those laddus. Now, one day, while Ganesha and Mr. Mouse were out looking for sweets, they discovered a new kind of laddu. The Super Jumbo Jawbreaker Laddu. Cool. Looks like Mr. Mouse got it out of this pretty neat looking machine here. Right into Ganesha's hands. Now, Ganesha snapped up the shiny treat, and he was about to eat it right there on the spot. But then, wait! Squeaked Mr. Mouse. Don't eat it! It's a jawbreaker! It'll break your tusk! But I'm a god, said Ganesha. I'm invincible. Ganesha popped the laddu in his mouth. He bit down and... What do you think is going to happen? I don't think the mouse is very looking forward to this. Snap! Oh no! Squeak! Oh no! Mr. Mouse yelled. How will I ever put the tusk back on? Ganesha wailed. Now, Ganesha was very clever and tried all sorts of ideas. What if I tie it on with a string? What if I stick it on with glue? Maybe I could just hold it on with my hand? But nothing worked. Let's see, there it is. It snapped right off. Oh, he's shocked with that one. See, they tried the stapler, they tried glue, they tried tape, they tried band-aids, they tried other tape, they tried a toothbrush, they tried string, another band-aid for good measure. But they couldn't get that tusk back on. I look lopsided, he said. Everyone will laugh at me. No, they won't, said Mr. Mouse. Everyone loses their teeth. And besides, you already have an elephant's head, and your friends still love you, okay? Don't worry. So there's poor Ganesha. He feels a little conscious about himself. But it's okay. Mr. Mouse is being a good friend right now. He's helping him out. He's sticking with him. All the other animals a little concerned for him right now, I think. I like that snake. But despite Mr. Mouse's attempt to help, Ganesha wasn't convinced. He thought he looked awful. He took all of his anger and frustration and he hurled his tusk at the moon. But the tusk didn't hit the moon. It sailed over a bush and hit the head of an old man who was walking by. Tonk! So there it is. He threw his tusk and it hit this man. I don't know what this man's doing. Is this your tusk? The old man asked. I'm sorry, said Ganesha. I didn't mean to hit you. I was aiming for the moon. What's your name? I'm Ganesha, and this is Mr. Mouse. You're Ganesha, the old man exclaimed. I've been looking for you. I'm Vyasa, the poet, and I need a special scribe for a poem. It's so long that no man could ever write the whole thing. All the pens in the world would break before it was done. So there's this old man Vyasa. He says he's a poet. That means he writes words. And there's Ganesha looking at his tooth. Here's Mr. Mouse with all the writing utensils. Vyasa says the story he needs to tell, no pen could write it. But I'm not a man, said Ganesha. And I love stories, but I don't have anything to write with. What about your tusk? Vyasa said. Oh, well, that's just a big tooth, Ganesha said. But it's a very special tooth, Vyasa explained, handing Ganesha a piece of paper. Give it a try. Let's see. Now Ganesha took the paper and pressed down with the tip of his tusk. It made a mark. Ganesha was so excited that he drew a flower and a tree and a picture of Mr. Mouse along with a few of his favorite things. Oh, so I see these are all the drawings that Mr. Ganesha just drew. He drew the mouse, Mr. Mouse. Looks like he drew a tiger there. Looks like a cobra, a monkey, some flowers. Some like caterpillar or something. I love my tusk, said Ganesha. I'd be happy to help you. What is the story about? The beginning of things, said Vyasa. It's rather hard to sum up. It's called the Mahabharata. So there's Ganesha, very happy to have his tusk back. And there he is, checking in with Vyasa. Excuse me, said Mr. Mouse, jumping onto the end of Ganesha's trunk. Now, I don't mean to interrupt, but what exactly are the terms of this agreement? This is a very long poem, after all. Can you tell the whole story in one go, Vyasa? No stopping? As long as Ganesha understands the meaning of everything I say. Well, can I eat sweets while I write? Asked Ganesha. Well, as long as you don't stop writing, said Vyasa. So Ganesha and Mr. Mouse agreed. Let's begin. There's Mr. Mouse all suited up for business talks. Always gotta have a suit on when you're talking business. There's Vyasa, and there's Ganesha chasing after those sweets. Now, as Vyasa spoke, Ganesha put his tusk to the paper and began writing. Soon he forgot all about the super jumbo jawbreaker Ladu and how funny he looked. He even forgot about the sweets he wanted to eat. Long ago, Vyasa said, there lived a very brave king of Hastinapur. One day, when he was out hunting, he happened upon a beautiful woman sitting on the banks of the Ganga River. So here we are. There's Ganesha writing down the story as Vyasa speaks it. And here we see the story start to come to life. There's the king, there's the woman. And a long night of storytelling occurred. You can see here's all the stories Vyasa told Ganesha. What kind of creatures do you see in there? 100,000 verses later, Ganesha put down his tusk. The Mahabharata, the great epic of Hindu literature, was complete. Ganesha peeked around a stack of paper and saw that Mr. Mouse had been eating his way through the ladus as they worked. The poem had taken a very long time. Yeah, see, look at all those stacks of paper. Wow, Ganesha wrote all night. There's Mr. Mouse, all snacked out. But Ganesha was happy to see that there were still a few ladus left for him and his friends. There they all are there. The end. So that was Ganesha's sweet tooth, friends. Something I really like about this book, especially when it comes to our theme of collaboration, is Ganesha goes through at the beginning of the story. He's going through a lot of problems. He's really hungry. He wants to eat all the sweets. But then he breaks his tooth, and then he has to deal with that problem, and it's very upsetting to him. And it isn't until Vyasa is able to calm him down and have him sit with him and to focus on creating something with someone else. And that collaboration allowed Ganesha to kind of find a little peace with himself. And all those problems he was dealing with at the beginning of the story, they all faded away. So thanks again, friends, for hanging out with me today for this episode of Cayton Recess. If you want to see more content like this, please make sure to follow us here on Instagram and subscribe to us on YouTube. And if you have any comments or suggestions of books you'd like to see, please use the hashtag Cayton Recess. I'd love to see it. But thanks again for coming around today, and hope to see you again soon. Take care.